Floresville City Council regular meeting for March the 12th, 2020. Thank you all for being here. I now call this meeting to order. Please rise for our invocation, and thank you, Mr. Gonzalez.
Let us pray. Heavenly Father, as always, we thank you for all your blessings. We come to you tonight with heavy hearts. We humbly ask that you find us favorable and help us all to deal with this awful pandemic. Provide our leaders at all levels with guidance that can help deal with it in the best manner feasible. Give us tonight your help in running the town's business also. Keep us aware of our responsibilities to our citizens and to the betterment of our town. We pray this in your Son's name. Amen.
Amen. Please join us in the pledge of allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
We do have a quorum for tonight's meeting. All members of the City Council are in attendance except for Mrs. Cantu. Thank you so much. And before we go on to our citizens' comments, thank you, Mr. Gonzalez, for this lifting up our community when it comes to the coronavirus. We participated in a telephone call with Governor Abbott this afternoon and the state of Texas officials. And they guided us, gave us information in case we have questions. We are not in the mode to scare people, but we want to let people know that as far as City Hall is concerned, we're going to take all precautions that we can. We are Texas and we love to shake hands, but if you would, until further notice, do that elbow bump or give a nice little wave. We have hand sanitizers located throughout City Hall. And we encourage people, and if you could encourage folks who normally come in and pay their water bill, if they could pay it online, or if they could go through the window, something to keep people as safe as we possibly can at this moment. And I know we sat this afternoon with Mrs. Turner and Mrs. Rodriguez, and so there will be other things coming up as we get a little bit further. A lot of things have been canceled in other cities. We are still looking at a few things here in the city of Floresville, and during the manager's report, I think she'll have a little bit more information about some. But we just want to make sure that everybody is safe as we possibly can. So the safety precautions, I'm sure you've seen them in the newspaper or on television. Wash your hands as much as possible. Try not to touch your face. Try to stay about 3 feet away from somebody else. And if somebody is sick, please stay home. But anyway, we want to do as much as we possibly can. And if you have any questions or concerns, please let us know. Thank you so much. At this moment, I will open the floor to citizens' comments. This is an opportunity for citizens to have the platform for 5 minutes. And if you would come up to the podium, state your name, and I will start the timer. I think Mr. Gonzalez had his hand up.
Council members, Mayor, my name is George Gonzalez, and I was here on February the 6th, 2020, about loose chickens and caged chickens at 1413 Trail Street. And I want to know from you all or somebody that has some authority, we voted you people in, so I expect you to do your job. Why is it that nothing has been done? I have spoken to Ralph Zuniga since December the 14th, 2020, and again, nothing. Mr. Zuniga came to my house today right before noon, and I asked him, Ralph, what are you doing here? He said, well, I'm here about the chickens. That's why you haven't done anything since December. Again, he keeps telling me the same story, that he cannot do anything. Is there livestock? I said, Ralph, you need to read your ordinance. He says, nobody claims the chickens. Again, that's not my problem, that's the city's problem. Someone has to read the ordinance, if you all know where to find it. The ordinance says, is repeatedly found at large, public nuisance, disturbing noises, unreasonable annoyances, disturbing, unreasonable annoyance. I can go on and on. So what is the problem? Why is it that no one can address the chickens? Will you all answer my question? Somebody?
And I'm sorry, Honorable Mayor and Mr. Gonzalez, all due respect, but they have actually an ethics code where they cannot respond to any questions. They can, as a council, as the mayor, can direct that it be put on a future agenda, but they cannot respond to your concerns in this meeting, because it's not in their agenda. I'm sorry.
So who do I talk to? Who needs to address this problem?
I am sure that, because this is the second time I remember you being here last time, I'm sure that the council, Honorable Mayor, will direct, or the council members can direct that it be put on a future agenda to discuss that. Yes, sir.
Well, again, I own some property in Floresville, and if this gentleman doesn't have to do anything along with the others, I don't see why I have to maintain my property. We'll cross that bridge when the time comes if I get a letter from the city, because y'all pick and choose. That's not right. Thank you all for your time.
And Mayor, if I may, you could at this point respond that that is something that the council will have in a future agenda, if you or the council so desire to do that.
Yes, we will.
Okay.
Any other citizens' comments? Yes. If you'll come up to the podium and just announce your name for the record.
My name is David Wall. I've lived here my entire life. What I have is an employee problem. Ralph Zuniga cited me for code compliance in written and registered mail. He's yet to contact me back. I left word at the judge's office on the 26th of February, left word at the front desk out here at City Hall on March the 4th. I'm having to keep a log on everything just on account of me catching Ralph lying to me. That's the only reason for me having to keep that. And I think that I should be able to get from Ralph. He's just dodging me, that's all he's doing. I want written notification that I am in compliant, so he don't come back, and also I don't need the other guy in there working with him coming back and fingering me for the same thing that they just told me I was compliant on. Is there any reason why I can't get written notification through registered mail and not something that hold up in court? That's what I'm wondering.
And Mr. Wall, with all due respect, again, they cannot answer you, but that is something that the
Well,
council...
it is an employee problem. I
Yes,
don't know if it's the chief of police, if it's the city manager. I've been down to the city manager's office. Yet to really get anything. When I went down there to try to find the map can't be found. I'm not down here at City Hall all the time, but that city manager is. And if that map can't be found, that comes from inside here and not from outside.
Yes, sir.
I'm not the one who lost that map. David Johns told me that I am in a commercial zone, and I don't even need to even register it commercial because I'm already in the registered zone. I've been running a business here in Floresville since 1985. Ralph tells me I can't run a business here. I'm not legal. I got sales tax permits that collect tax for the city, paying them taxes and stuff, but yet he claims I'm not able to run a business here.
And Mayor, if that is something, once again, and with all due respect to Mr. Wall, if that is something that the mayor and or the city council would like to discuss in a future agenda, I would ask that that please be placed on a future agenda.
Okay.
And anyway, the only businesses that I can see, what they had me do was haul off all my outside stored material from the place, which makes it hard to run a business. It'd be just like going down the hardware store and telling them, well, from the front window, we can see half of the storage on your shelves. Get it out of here. We don't want to see it, because we might be able to turn our head when we're going down the street and see it on the shelves. Get rid of your merchandise. How are you going to sell anything? How are you going to do anything? You cannot run a business like that. And, you know, if maybe a dozen or 2 dozen businesses would fold up and leave here in about a 2-year period, y'all might figure out that you're not doing something quite right. Now, I've been here all my life. I'm not going to continue to stay here. I will leave. And this thing with the code compliance stuff, all that is Ben Reed going through code compliance, fingering people like he did me, and then come along and come in and want to buy the property later at a song and a dance. So you can turn around and turn it into a commercial and sell it later. He's got a sideline business on this property selling.
And if we will, that would be something that the council can address in a future meeting, if that is something that you would hope to do, Mayor and council members. Unfortunately, you are not allowed to respond, because that is what you have in place for the council. That is your policy of decorum that has been adopted by the council, and it was adopted quite a number of years ago. But unfortunately, during this time, the council can listen to criticism, but there comes a point where it has to stop, because you cannot defame anybody, with all due respect, Mr. Wall. I'm just trying to protect.
I know he's the one that done it, and his name pops up all over town, so.
We just, at that point.
He's
Mayor,
up there,
we
he's
have
been
to-
there.
Thank you, Mr.
Thank you, Mr.
Wall.
Thank you all.
Thank you, sir.
Any other citizens' comments? Okay, if no other citizens' comments, going on to old business. Excuse me, consideration and action to approve the meeting minutes for the regular council meeting on February the 13th. Council, you have those in front of you, and I know there was a little bit of question as we tabled it last time.
Mayor, if I may, these minutes were tabled because there was some issues, some action that took place regarding the Chamber of Commerce. I believe there was some funding available for that.
I think what ended up happening, and if I may, Honorable Mayor and council members, I think the issue ended up being not the chamber, but the visitor center. And I think the problem was that the council can approve to pay salaries. However, because of the funds that are going to be utilized, you could not pay everything else that was being requested of you. So if I'm correct, Ms. Turner, I think that was possibly the issue on that.
Yes, that issue, and that we're trying to maintain a zero-based budgeting and reference going forward, and this was not budgeted for. I believe the amount was in amount of $9,994.62 for the funding, and so we don't have that funding available at this time. And if these minutes are approved, it has to go forward because that becomes record. And then you're not in compliance to what we're supposed to be doing going forward with zero-based budgeting. It's not something that we have planned or anticipated for. And then we would take over, and we had a meeting, a subsequent meeting with the chamber about the Business Bureau, taking those actions, those activities back, to have them here and have some volunteers to do that here at City Hall, which I believe is in your agenda later on today. But we're asking to amend these minutes to not, or asking their attorney how we can rescind that action.
The action that would have to be taken, Mayor, at this time would be that there would have to be a motion basically to retake the vote on that. I think the two issues that are pressing regarding that is that you will be utilizing funds to pay fees that you cannot. You can pay salaries, however, you cannot pay everything that was added up in order to be the $9,000. I think the second thing that Ms. Turner is bringing up is a zero balance budget, where she's indicating that it was not budgeted for. But in order for that to take place, there has to be a motion to take back the vote that was previously done to approve the $9,994 and some odd cents. It has to be second, it has to be put to a vote. If that passes, then you would have to make that correction in the minutes. If that was done, it was retaken back and then proceed.
Does the council understand?
Yes.
Is it explained? Okay. Now, also, before we take any motion on that, Just wanted to clear up, these were all marked that I was absent, and I was here on all of these.
So that's a correction that needs
That's
to
a
be done.
correction on
Yes,
that,
ma'am. Yes,
that
ma'am.
I was not absent. Any other questions or changes that council so feels on this agenda, on this, on these minutes?
I make the motion to approve the meeting minutes with the amendment that you mentioned, that you are marked present, and also with the amendment of letter B to rescind the decision to approve funding for the Chamber of Commerce.
Okay. I have a motion on the floor, do I have a second?
I second.
Seconded by Missy Menace.
If I can, just real quick, Mayor, my understanding is that they indicated last time that it was to the visitor center?
The funding would be for the business centers, what they made the request for.
Okay, so, I think that there will have to be clarification on that motion, Mayor. And Councilwoman, and it's because it's a visitor center, not the chamber, my understanding, if I remember my memory, and it serves me correctly, they indicated they were separate and apart.
Yes, the budget that they presented was just the visitor center,
Okay, please.
staffing of the visitor center.
So it's to amend letter B, approving funding for, instead of it saying Chamber of Commerce, it should be Visitor Center.
Yes,
So we will rescind that decision to approve funding for the Visitor Center.
okay, yes, and that would be the motion, and
Yes.
then.
Along with the amendment to mark the mayor present.
Yes, yes. Yes.
Yes.
So I have a motion and a second. Are there any citizens' comments? If not, all those in, oh, yes, go ahead.
Fred Gonzalez, Floresville. It seems to me that when you're either approving or disapproving minutes, you really are not talking about the substance of the action. If there's an action to be retaken, that should be a separate action in future meetings. It just appears to me that on the minutes, they're either correct or not. Tabling might be the best way to go. And then take up the necessary action as an action, not a minutes correction. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Gonzalez. Asking the advisement of our attorney.
Whichever you prefer to do, Mayor. If you think that it is best to table it, with further clarification, allowing Councilwoman Cantu to be present for that as well. I do believe she was here
Yes.
during that.
Yes.
So, of course, my preference would be that everybody that was here at that meeting be allowed to voice their opinion, and at that time, either vote yea or nay after the motion is done. Okay, so,
Well, I will open the floor for
discussion.
discussion
Thank
on
you.
this as well. So it does seem like it should be tabled to be reworded on another agenda.
Ms. Rodriguez, do the items under new business C and D qualify for that decision?
Okay, C and D regarding the minutes?
Is
What is the
it
question?
my
I'm sorry.
understanding that we should table minutes, but have it listed as another discussion item or another C and A item?
You can. You are going to either approve the minutes as they're presented, or you're not going to approve it. If there's going to be further action that needs to be discussed regarding that issue, then I would suggest that it be placed on the agenda, specifically saying, you know, after that amendment is done, specifically saying whether you want to move forward and give any funding.
Which is what will be covered in item C and D.
Well, D says to approve the visitor center, to approve it. Are you approving a budget along with that?
Yes.
Are you just gonna approve the visitor center per se as an organization? Or will there be other action that will be required with letter D?
Other action that I think the discussion we had with the Chamber of Commerce, it was that the city of Floresville would be taking over ownership of the visitor center.
Those duties of the visitor center.
Duties of the visitor center, that's no longer something we're going to be charging the chamber with. The idea for the Chamber of Commerce partnership is that we continue our partnership and working together. However, with the understanding there will be no additional funding in this fiscal year. They'll come back and visit us in July when we start the budgeting process.
Okay. So that's gonna deal with D, the visitor center. My understanding is that what's on the table is going to be to do away with the visitor center?
That the city of Floresville will be operating the visitor center. It would not be a general function any longer. That's what would be the action for D.
Okay. I would like for it to be spelled out a little bit different, if we could, please, for clarity and
So
clarification.
then we could do, C and D will table those going forward, and then for the
And
minutes,
then-
we'll table that, and then
Yes.
use that at the next session.
Yes, if that is fine. I would like clarification and for it to be made pretty transparent to the public to know what is going on.
Okay.
Is that okay?
Okay. So the best situation is to table,
Yes, ma'am. To table the minutes and possibly also table C and D because they deal with the same issue.
Okay. I make a motion to table the minutes for the regular council meeting on February 13th, 2020.
I have a motion on the floor, do I have a second?
I second.
Seconded by Mrs. Martinez. All those in favor, please raise your right hand.
Madam Mayor,
Yes.
then, wasn't there a motion, and then it was seconded, and then there was discussion? We should have rescind that motion?
Let's go ahead and rescind the motion if we can for clarification.
Okay, rescind the first motion.
Yes, the first motion to,
Okay, so,
to approve the corrections and stuff.
so, Mayor, I rescind my first motion,
Okay,
and I have a new motion
okay,
to table the minutes for the regular council meeting dated February 13th.
Yes.
Okay.
And that's been seconded by Ms. Martinez, is that correct?
yes. Thank you for that clarification. Moving on to item 1B, consideration and action to. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. All those in favor, please raise your right hand. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you. Moving on to item 1B, consideration action to approve meeting minutes for the regular council meeting on February the 27th, 2020.
I make a motion to approve meeting minutes for the regular council meeting on February 27th.
I have a motion on the floor by Mrs. Martinez. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Seconded by Ms. Jimenez. Any citizens' comments? If not, all those in favor, please raise your right hand.
Mayor, I abstain, as I was not present.
Okay, thank you. Okay, moving on to item 2A, an update on our water well maintenance and the water restrictions.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, City Council. I normally give a report, but I think these two items that we requested to give an update on in reference to that. And so one of the things for an executive overview, we've been having some water restrictions, as you know. We were lifted at the city of Floresville imposed a mandatory water restriction following a mechanical failure. There was a failure at B Street Well, which is right there by the junior high. The reason for the restriction is due to the drop in quantity of water, not necessarily quality of water, and the Floresville ISD High School was experiencing trouble with flushing because it dropped down lower than what their RPZ would allow to come through. We met with the school, we sent out the notice, and so we were able to lift that. However, we are prepared at this point to put in a permanent pump. The school will be having spring break on Monday, and we'll be starting that process. Because we're going to be having to intermittently have it online and offline, we are going to be imposing the restrictions again, Monday through Friday of next week. We're prepared to notify people so that we'll have the permanent pump in and repair. I did bring in the supervisor of water department who has been working on these wells, working very hard and diligently, literally 24 hours a day. One of the things I did include in your packet is the City of Floresville Plaza number 2. M&S has put that in their newsletter of what we're doing, and this is what we've been preparing for some time. It didn't happen overnight. We've been preparing for some time, and what the $2.5 million is for is to replace and take care of this issue. But I'll be quiet and let Johnny explain, and he has agreed not to use too many technical terms because he lost me a little while one time ago. Johnny?
Okay. So currently we have operators down at the water well. They are pumping up the elevator in the ground storage tank just to keep it above where we needed to be for the threshold, just to keep pressure where we need it to be. We haven't had any issues where we've dropped a low pressure plane because we are using Hospital Boulevard and our pressure plane valves to keep everything afloat. So Right now, with the test pump in, we're able to stay about 118 feet with water and elevated storage tank. And Moy's water well services have been just out there, like Ms. Turner said, day and night, kind of just pumping their motors and pumps just to keep us above at least 100 feet. We don't want the school to fall below 100 feet. So we've kind of kept it on a routine where we're filling up towers early in the morning, chlorinating, making sure our chlorine residuals are staying where we need them to be. And we're letting the school and everybody else consume water throughout the day. Once consumption kind of slows down, which peak flow hits us right now, and it doesn't until about 9 o'clock at night. They'll typically stay around 110 feet, which is pretty good pressure. But we want to typically get that tank up to 118 feet, and then we shut down for the night, let everybody get it down to about 80 feet of water. And doing that, it's been helping us a whole lot, astronomically. As a matter of fact, I talked to Daryl for the school. We haven't had any hiccups. Our main concern is keeping the kids with water, so that's why we're going to go ahead and put the well back online next week. Just a few little hiccups that had happened that put us into this pickle, but it's not something that wasn't unfixable. Moy's just really had to travel throughout all of Texas to get these parts put in and brought to Pleasanton, where they were able to assemble them, get the proper measurements. The well's about 1,120 feet below into the aquifer. So they they got all the parts, they got everything set up, so we're just going to be replacing a few parts that were just through wear and tear just kind of went bad. So luckily we're able to catch the problem when we caught it, so it stops us from having to do any kind of further work. It's just replacing those parts that are broken and getting us up and running.
How long will the process take?
We're currently going to have it started on Monday, and we wanted to start today, but we want the kids to finish school. So spring break hits. We're going to go ahead and do Monday all day. Tuesday we're gonna do Monday all day. Tuesday we have to let everything sit for 24 hours before we can start pulling our bacteriological samples. Once we pull our back T samples, we have to do through TCEQ 3 days of sampling before we can put our well permanently back into service. And it'll be up hopefully by Thursday of next week is what we're shooting for. But we're gonna push the restrictions till Friday just in case. If we uplift them, earlier, it's always better. But we just hope for the best, and that's what we're shooting for Thursday, Friday, for sure.
How are we notifying people that we're on water restriction, we're off water restriction, now we're back on it?
Well, we will have to use our social media. We're going to push on social media to put people here when they're doing coming to pay the water bills. We're posting outside, notifying what's coming news, and then we have the push notification that we have through Wilson County with Floresville section. So we will be notifying people that we have the restriction. Most of the restriction that happen in reference to businesses is actually car washes, and so we will have the officer to notify them tomorrow personally that Monday through Friday that they cannot have the car wash to be running. And so we will notify them physically. The police have been able to do that, and they will do that again, as we notified them when we lifted the restriction. But we didn't want to keep it on during this time. Staff has been doing a yeoman's job, literally 24 hours. Again, just so that everyone knows, we have 3 wells. One is offline, has been offline for about 2 years. That's Plaza Well. B Street well is the one by the elementary school. And then we have Hospital Well, which is our oldest and largest well. But we need all 3 to be up and running. Originally, I had a meeting on the 11th with Oak Hills Water. That's one of the things we have in the 2.5. But they weren't able to have a quorum because we needed to agree, and hopefully we can close sometime in April or May so that we can actually start repairing that for the 2.5 and putting it in and drilling that new well. So this is something that we have been working on and anticipating. It's just a total mechanical failure, but I want to thank the citizens and the staff especially that have been working so hard to address these questions. I hope that answered your questions and concerns.
Any comments or questions on the council?
They did a really good job.
They did an awesome job. I cannot thank them enough.
Johnny, do you have any staff here with you?
I do not. I have 2 operators that are at the well. I have 2 more that they're pretty shy. They didn't want to come in.
Yes.
But other than that, yeah, we're
But we
pretty.
want to give them the Donna boys, and they have been working literally 24 hours a day, working 2 shifts where they're actually sitting physically at the well, and we've been able to do so. The on-call has been there for them. We have been able to do that. when this is all done and we're done, we definitely want to have a special celebratory to, you know, get them lunch or have them something to do to say thank you so much for really pitching in. And this man has lovely 2 twin daughters, and he has left them to come and make sure that everything is great and working wonderful. So it's been a team effort, and so we're hoping and looking forward for it to come to its conclusion very quickly.
Thank you, John.
Hopefully a week from tomorrow we'll have really good news.
Yes. Okay, the second item that the mayor requested to be on the agenda to return was the sports complex. So I've met with the Heartland contractor on the project, and it seems like it's coming to its final stages of construction. As staff prepares for opening days at the event scheduled for the 28th, we have a cook-off, a health fair, and a 5K run. We may have to address those issues once we find out some other things going forward. As everyone knows in the media and the news, they have canceled football. I can't do all the alphabet, so I know football, basketball, soccer, and baseball, and they've even closed Disneyland. So we need to be prepared, but we are preparing for our March 28th meeting. I don't have the final design for the amphitheater. That's still pending. I have attached some photos. So they have the first photo that you see there, that's for the trucks, where we have a parking area for the trucks. There's some picnic pavilions that they put up there, the wonderful splash pad. And they've done some painting and things to the pavilion, the large and the small. The large and the small pavilion, they've done some painting in reference to that. And so those are the things that we're working on, so we're looking like it's coming to a conclusion.
And again, there might be some adjustments for the March 28th.
Yes, we may have to have some adjustments for the March 28th meeting. 28th for the opening day. Opening day, your meeting is on the 26th. For opening day, we'll have to follow up about the activities. However, the chamber did sponsor a circus event, and it's a one-day travel in, and so I think for that activity, I think we're going to actually have to cancel based on the fact that we need to limit the activity from outside of this community and outside of Texas to be able to do that. So we're going to cancel that event on the 18th during spring break. That's a chamber event, but it was going to be hosted here at our event center. These things are still scheduled for the 28th, but again, it's literally, and I think the mayor can agree that it is a day-to-day process. As things happen, we're going to have to see. But as it stands right now today, we have this event set for the 28th.
Any questions? And thank you again to Johnny for all his hard work and for your department on those days. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you.
Moving on to 2C, capital improvements, street maintenance project and the sidewalk project. Councilman Ortiz.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, Council, staff, and guests. It's on the agenda of the streets. Ladies and gentlemen, our project for the streets was Plum Street from 4th to 10th, and then it was D Street here from 4th to 10th, and over here G Street from 3rd to 5th. And those funds, we funded those programs with those streets with a street maintenance tax, 1/4 sales tax. We get around $450,000 per year, and I am asking the council, which thank you very much for those projects. I'm asking the council for about $1.5 million to start another project. We can do it. We have the council, we have the community backing us up on this. We will have about 8 streets, and those streets will be Peach Street from Goliad to 4th. It will be Railroad 2nd to 3rd, C from 2nd to 5th, E from 1st to 4th, and then F from 2nd to 9th. And the other small ones, 2 small ones will be 11th Street over there by the Tiger Lane, and the last one will be on G Street, 10th to 11th. That's about it, and I think we can do it, council, and we need the community's help on this. It is going to be a big task, but I know it's much demanded. The residents and the community have always demanded better roads, fix the potholes, and the 1/4 cent sales tax is coming from here. You know, this is what we have to fund. We must fund this. This is the biggest improvement. We have the council's backing, and it can be done. We've spent on that first one, what was it, Henry? 367,000? 467,000. So the funds are there. We have funds there, the savings. We appropriated 350,000 this year, so we can do it in staggered increments, and I'm just eager to start those projects, but still, I need y'all's help, council. That's about it. I mean, you know, it sounds a lot, but just look at the whole city plus we annexed, and we gotta start now. So I'm asking y'all's help and y'all's support. So that's just about it. Madam Mayor, if there's any questions or...
Did we engineer those streets already, or those?
No, I don't think so.
You had a list of some.
They went and look at those streets, and those are the bad ones, you know, the ones that do need attention. Yes.
So what the display has, Mayor, Council, and the public, is that the ones in yellow are the ones, the streets that are optional, that the engineer's saying that you should look at. And then the ones in green are the ones that we did this past year in 2019 that we completed.
Right.
And so, as you know, we may want to add some streets. You all know the streets better than myself. Look at that and make a suggestion of what we can do.
Right. And
I think you said about $1 million forward is what we can do, but we need to go out to bid. But we need to identify those streets and then come back, and the engineer can actually do projected numbers of what that would be. The street that was not on there is the Railroad Street that's over there by the high school, that I know everybody asked for about the chamber, and the reason is we looked at that several different times, and that street alone to do so is $1 million all by itself.
Yeah.
That's a big one there.
Yes.
Curbing and all that.
Yes, because we have to put in a French drain and there's some other issues, and so we could decide to do that street, but if you decided to do that street, that would be the only street that you could do for the year.
Okay. Any questions?
Would we need to have a workshop to look at the streets like we did for the first projects that we did? Or we decided which ones, or in what order they're going to be?
It's up to the council. The council has the last say on this. And y'all have the experience because we've done those three.
Yeah, I think if we proceed like we did the last time.
Right, plus, right. So
It's a good idea. Thank you,
workshop
Councilman. Yes, sir.
would help.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Councilman.
Would this be on for, when will we start really discussing this?
It's all up to us. If we want to wait till next year, that's fine. If we want to
You typically start,
progress on it, you know.
typically start your budget discussions in July, and so you can have it like before July. So these are capital projects, these are pretty the big high dollar amounts, and that you can talk about what you'd like to put forward. I know there's been conversations out there about the 5-year plan that the city manager is supposed to do.
Right.
And so then you can actually put this in phases to talk about how you want to be able to put that in for the 5-year plan or a 3-year plan going forward. So if you'd like to schedule a workshop and get with the secretary, we can schedule that with the engineers.
You got to remember this, council. Those 3 streets, we waited till September.
Right, yeah, I remember that.
That was kind of late.
That was a long time.
So let's be proactive and start this one like next month or sooner.
Yeah.
So we can get them done. We can do it.
Yeah.
I know we can. As a team, we don't need anything fresh, like fresh start or fresh minds or whatever. Our minds are here. we can do it. Okay? So the next thing, any other questions? Council, staff, guests?
Any comments concerning the streets?
I do. Sure. Jacob Montoya, 11th Street. With these streets being fixed, are we gonna fix what's underneath them first?
Absolutely, positively.
Water lines and things
Absolutely.
like that, because I
Absolutely.
know on F Street, I've seen them several times in front of Squeaks fixing lines there. So if we're gonna fix the streets, we're gonna fix what's underneath them, so we don't tear up the
Yes, sir.
streets again, right?
That's a good question.
Yes, sir.
That's exactly what we did on Plum, on D and on G.
Good, good. And that's what I'm concerned about, because I mean, it's a nice street, and you tear it
Absolutely.
up just for something that wasn't fixed prior before we're spending that money on the street. It's kind of, you know, just a pothole later,
Yeah.
it's not fixed right.
And Mr. Montoya, when we schedule workshops, we look at all those discussions, and so we'd be happy to have you there along with
Absolutely.
us as we,
And the public.
plan.
Okay, well, thank you.
Thank you.
Any
Any
other?
other citizens' comments? Yes.
Sure.
Good evening, Madam Mayor, Council Member, Councilman Ortiz and staff and people here present. In regard to this street, this is dedicated money from sales tax,
Absolutely.
but it can only be used for street
That's it.
construction.
Absolutely.
So it don't impact in any way any homeowner or any other tax. It's already dedicated for that.
Correct. Yes, sir.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Roy.
I'm sorry, if I can just interject something just real quick. I'm glad that you brought that up. I do want to
May.
remind the mayor and council that that is a proposition that will
May
be
2nd.
up in May, hopefully to be approved and voted on. If
Yes.
not, it goes away come December.
Goes back to the
Just keep
state.
that in mind.
But they still collect the money, it just goes to the
Yes,
state.
Right.
but
Goes
then the
back to
state takes it and not the city.
Absolutely. It's very critical, very important.
Yes.
Thank you, sorry.
No, that's good. Anything else? Okay, our next project is the sidewalks. That sidewalks there, we got a grant from the CDBG from the state, and it was $250,000. And I would like to thank FEDC, the board, Ben Reed, and because of their kind donation, $50,000. So that came to a total around $300,000. We're about to break ground in a couple of weeks, and we'll start here on D and 3rd, and then we'll go to over there toward C, and then it's going to go left toward 2nd Street. 2nd Street, yes. So I know that the businesses are going to slow down a little bit because of the interruption. We just want to tell the businesses to hold on tight. We'll be there, especially for the handicap. This will help the disabled and the handicapped for those ramps. And as a matter of fact, I have a little thing here. It says that the sidewalk improvements that the project will be installing is 1,645 feet of concrete sidewalk, 682 of handrails. That's for me. I'm just playing. And 10 ADA accessible curb ramps. Okay? And crosswalks and pavement repair. So ladies and gentlemen, to the city, the citizens, the voters, that was a freebie. And I would like to thank Henrietta, the council, an outstanding job. Thank you very much. And hopefully, let's do it right. And once we start that project, we can go to phase 2. And there we'll go again for phase 2, Henrietta. And thank you very much. Said that and done. I would like to thank each and every one of y'all. And if y'all have any questions on this block grant, the floor is open.
Just on the EDC, we would like to thank the council, Councilman Ortiz, for working with the EDC as well to make sure that we do this for the citizens and for the businesses. And so we'll be setting a meeting with the businesses as we tear up, Aaron always says, tear up their front door, so we can continue to drive we were talking about events, but you know that with this virus that's going on, as we work with them to let them know that their doors are open. Some things we saw is like whenever they were doing the sidewalks on 1 a.m. with Church's Chicken, they put some signs out and some buckets said, under construction, still open, come in. So we're going to be there to help to support our local businesses and let them know that our downtown is not closed. We're just under a remodeling phase. And so with your approval, we'd like to partner with the city to make sure that we are 100% behind the businesses of downtown.
Absolutely. Thank you very much.
Any other comments by citizens?
Fred Gonzalez, Floresville. As everybody here knows, we've been on this one for many years. In fact, I got here in '09 and we were hot on it and we're going to get it done. So it's very encouraging and certainly thank you, Mr. Ortiz, and all of you folks for finally getting there. Nothing affects the people more than construction. And you know that, particularly when your car goes like, and your teeth come out and all that. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Councilman Ortiz.
Thank you, Mayor.
Moving on to item 3A, consideration and action to select Performance Services Incorporated for an energy professional service contract pursuant to the interlocal purchasing system. Authority for such service is granted under the Texas Government Code 791.001 as amended. PSI is approved vendor under contract 170103 for the interlocal purchasing system for energy professional services, and I think that gave you enough time to get your computer ready.
And it's different for the presentation there. This is focusing on the event center itself. I don't know if you had a chance to go through your presentation in your packet, but it's a combination of energy savings and the parking lot at the event center.